this is all part of us being discontinued from our heritage. The things that we used to know before, we have to be re-taught them again.
That's right.
All right, yeah. Can I bring? No, I want to bring that. You bring the brother about the fact that he came. That boy that was blind came so that he can be healed. But then again, that question alone proved that how people knew about reincarnation.
Oh, yeah.
Now I want to read Daniel 12 and 13.
Bring it up.
And he said, but go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot in the end of the days. Alright? I'll read that again. Daniel 12 and 13. But go thou thy way till the end be, and for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot.
Thou shalt rest and
stand in your portion, meaning, and that's where it goes into like 1 Corinthians 14 and 32, right? Yeah. About a prophet will be. So Daniel right now is among us. But that's the spirit talking to Daniel. He said, go down. So you will die. That's resting. That's why we shouldn't be afraid of dying. As a man of the Lord, you're not supposed to be afraid of dying. Because all you do is go to your rest, you go to your sleep, and you come back. So Daniel is amongst us. Jeremiah is among us. Ezekiel, but the reason why you shouldn't know who you are, and that's why the most time when you come on earth, you don't have no remembrance of your past glory or past life, because he want to keep you humble. Because if you know you were Daniel, you will be chilling, man. You wouldn't take it serious.
That's right.
All right. So this is real, man. This is real.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
And this is Ezra. When you read it, he's bringing out some prophecies of the end times. But he's saying, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?
That's right.
That's letting you know that even Ezra knows that our spirit comes back. Otherwise, why is he asking who's going to deliver me in those days? Yeah? Does he think that he's going to live what? How long would that be? Like some 3,000 odd years? No. He knows that the spirit comes back, man.
I've got another precept as well. And that's carry on.
And he's actually identifying himself with the last stage, because he's saying, who will deliver me? That's personal. That's not abstract, that's personal.
In those days. And that's the last day.
And that's the last stage.
Real.
Yeah. Job 14 and 13. I know that's the one that you, but there's another one after that. That's the one that said,
this is like all linked up to what we were talking about last week. You know what I'm saying?
Job 14 and 13. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past, that thou wouldest appoint me a set time and remember me. Thou wouldest appoint me a set time. Job 14 and 13. Oh, that thou wouldest hide me in the grave, that thou wouldest keep me secret until thy wrath be past.
This is one of my favorite scriptures as well. It says, keep me secret till thy wrath be past. Yeah? Then, do what?
That thou wouldest appoint me a set time and remember me.
Yeah, so even Job is saying, you know what? Take me out of this world, man, until you bring your judgment upon the earth. Then put me back on the earth. You know? And when you think about the madness that the Most High is going to bring upon this earth, that Job verse there, to me at times sounds like music to my ears.
So some people will be like, I am legend, man. Some people will be meaning. And then they will come and they'll be walking around their own like in Brixton when everybody's dying.
Shopping with the mannequins.
But the most important one is coming in verse 14. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait.
But we're putting a set time upon this earth.
That's right.
Yeah? Then the Most High pulls his spirit back, passing judgment.
Revelation.
Then he passes judgment. 3-4 generations later, you come back to apply that judgment underneath the sun. That's why it says, they're the wicked and the righteous is there, man. Because amongst us, you've got righteous people. That's what we're trying to live that righteous life. But then at the same time, you've got wicked amongst us. Yeah? All that happens here. Even the kingdom of heaven is going to be here. And this is where it's going to be played out on the earth.
Good. Play it out. Let me read it again. If a man die, shall he live again? All thy days of my appointed time, well, he answered that. So he said, if a man die, shall he live again? And that's why I love the Bible. But when you read the Bible, sometimes the next precept also, you know what I'm saying? So he said, all the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. Now he did mention about recycling. Everything is recycled. Yeah? I want to bring a little gem. Yeah. When you read the Bible, you understand that through the reincarnation process, that even King Solomon was the Yahushua. And I want to. It's not long. Can someone read 2 Samuel 7? We'll start at 12 and we'll finish at
Samuel chapter 7, verse what? 13. I'll read at 12.
Yeah, it's at 12.
And when thy days be fulfilled,
and when thy days be fulfilled, he's talking about King David, isn't it? King David, carry on.
Yes, and that when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers.
And that's King David, That's a prophecy.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
I will set up thy seed after thee.
I will set up that seed after. Can someone go to Psalm 132, verse 11? Can someone read that for me?
Yeah.
Yes. But the Bible is so real, man. The Bible is so real.
It said, I will set up thy seed.
11.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 132 and verse 11. And it reads, the Lord, Yahweh, hath sworn in truth unto David, Gawad. He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne.
Yes, that's the prophecy.
And that fruit is the seed. Yeah, with sperma.
Right.
And when thy days be fulfilled, and that's how you know that Yahushua never born of no spirit. Where is granddaddy? Yeah?
That's a whole complete another lesson.
That's another lesson.
Yeah, that's a whole complete another lesson.
Yeah, it says 2 Samuel 7 and 12. And when thy days be fulfilled, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed, thy sperma, after thee. It will keep you short, sperma. Which shall proceed out of thy bowels.
That's right.
From your loins.
Yes.
And I will establish his kingdom.
And I will establish his kingdom.
That he shall build a house for my name.
He shall build a house for my name. Who built the house at this point? Is Solomon. Because he couldn't build it because his hand was too full of blood. The man went to war. David went to war.
Yeah, man of war, yeah.
He went, like they say, to have peace, you have to prepare. You have to prepare. To have your peace, you have to go to war. That's what it takes for Israel to have that peace. So Solomon, when he was ruling, he ruled 40 years. There war and peace.
And I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
I will establish his throne of the kingdom. That's already the first clue. Because we know that if it was about Solomon didn't rule forever. Because he ruled only for what? For 40 years, right?
Says, I will be his father and he shall be my son.
I will be his father and he shall be my son. There's the next clue coming again.
If he commit iniquity,
I
will chasten him with the rod of men.
That's right.
And with the stripes of the children of men.
That's right. Now, when you read that, that's where it gets technical. Because if you study the life of Solomon, though he sinned and the honor of sin, he went with, not that he really went with the concubine, but they took him away from Yahweh. He started to worship idols, right? So that was an iniquity. But he didn't pay for the iniquity.
This is Isaiah.
Microphone. No, don't worry, it's okay, mommy. But this is supposed to hear what you. I know, you're right. That's right.
Well, you know what? If they want to hear, they know where we are.
They can come and stand like you are.
This is Isaiah 53, verse 5. But he was wounded for our transgression.
That's right.
He was bruised for our iniquities.
Bruised for our iniquities.
The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
That's right. So yeah. So now read that part where you say, and you shall rule forever.
Yeah, this is 2 Samuel 7:13. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
So Yahushai is the one who will establish the throne forever. But what did he do meanwhile? He died. He died for Israel's sin, but at the same time, he died for his own sin when he was Solomon. If you can get that. All right? If you, like Yahushua said, if you can receive it. He died for the sin of Israel, but he died for, that's what the Bible, that's what he says, and I will if you commit iniquity, I will chastise it. If you can receive it. Yeah?
Yeah, now if you go to Revelations 22, Revelations 22 verse 16, if you get me the book of Genesis 22, Genesis 22, and if you start from verse 7,
Revelation 22 and 16.
You got Genesis already? Wow, how did you be faster, man?
Says, I, Yahushai, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things.
so he sent the angels to testify.
Yahushai. These things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David.
So when you read about the root and the offspring of David, you go to Matthew chapter 1. Yeah? And let's start here. Go on.
In the book of Matthew, chapter
the bright and morning
He's
star.
he's the bright and morning star. Yeah, Matthew chapter 1 verse 1.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, Yahushai HaMashiach.
So he's telling you from the beginning. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was of Yahweh. And then, so let's bring it up.
The son of David, no other, the son of Abraham. And verse 2. Abraham begat Isaac.
Abraham begat who?
Abraham begat Isaac.
Okay, so this is telling you now, yeah, he's the bright and morning star, right? So now we're going to see what happened, why he is the birth and the offspring, and why he's going to come through Isaac. So now get to Genesis. We've got Genesis 22. So we get Yahushua being a sacrifice for us. So we can get
Genesis chapter 22 and verse 7. And it reads, And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but here is the lamb for a burnt offering.
So the burnt offering, yeah, is like he didn't need a burnt offering because we got Yahushua. This is showing you that how he was also how he built Israel, and also he is our sacrifice.
Verse 8. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb
So that
for a burnt offering.
So that is Yahushua being our lamb, our sacrifice, our offering. Yeah? If you read First John,
This is Hebrews chapter 9 verse 15. And for this cause he's the mediator of the New Testament.
He's the what?
He's the mediator of the New Testament.
Yeah, for this cause.
That by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
That's saying that through being the lamb, how he come at the beginning, and why he's going to come as a lion, it's showing you that he was our sacrifice.
This is Hebrews 9 and 11. But Mashiach being come an high priest of good things to come, by a greater, more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves,
But by the blood of goats and calves,
but by his own blood he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
So if you remember, yeah, Isaac didn't need to be sacrificed. Instead, he gave the circumcision. That's why in today, if we're going to say he's Isaac, we need to circumcise as well. Not just the flesh, but also the heart, the minds, in keeping the commandments.
Mainly the heart right now.
But also the flesh, because
Not
he's
the flesh,
Isaac.
the flesh.
Also
But
the
my point
flesh.
is that there's a lot of people that are circumcised, but they don't want to hear about the law. That's
Exactly.
what,
Go to Acts chapter 15.
what's your purpose, man?
That's it. Yeah.
I'd rather have someone that may not be circumcised, but is circumcised in the heart. See, this is
Acts 15.
This is Acts 15:1.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you,
And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved.
So basically, that's what they're saying, that you can't be saved without what the Bible is saying, just being saved from the flesh. Because you can be saved, you can be circumcised, but you're still committing all abominations. Yeah? But then, when you go to verse, the scribes.
Verse 5. But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying,
So these are Pharisees that believe in Yahushua. Yeah?
that it was needful to circumcise them,
What?
needful to circumcise them, and to command them to keep the law of Moses.
To what?
And to command them to keep the law of Moses.
So it's in the law that we must circumcise. If you break the law, you don't love the Father. If you don't love the Father, then it's like you're still uncircumcised. Do you understand? It's like it goes hand in hand. You can't say, oh, you can be uncircumcised. That would be breaking the law.
Remember that we are missing right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what he's saying. It is. Read that again. Read that again.
But there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying,
Which what?
saying
They believe in Yahushua.
that it was needful to circumcise them
Needful to
and
circumcise
to command them to keep the law of Moses.
and command them. So that's how they will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. But if they told them that you don't need to, it would be like you're going to be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah.
All right, so, all right, okay, brother. Let's talk about, we talk about reincarnation, innit? And I want to prove to you as well, since we're talking about reincarnation, let's get it out, yeah? We're going to prove as well that Adam, Yahushua, on the quick thing, yeah? We're going to prove that as well, so people can be edified. The reason why we are talking about reincarnation today is because whatever you're going through are ordained by Yahweh. You were there before and you are here today to live out your judgment, right? And if you find yourself listening to us, more than likely you were one of those righteous people back in time. Now you're back here again to be righteous and you're waiting for the kingdom. What does the Bible say about the kingdom? It says the elect shall take the kingdom, right? So someone read, let's start with Romans 5 and 14. Romans 5 and 14. And you take 1 Corinthians 15, 45 and 47. Everybody goes 2 verses and I'll read that. Yeah. Read Romans 5 and 14.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 5, and verse 14.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah. Nevertheless, death.
14. Yeah. Yes.
Nevertheless, death reigned from Adam to Moses,
That's right.
even over them that had not sinned, after the multitude of Adam's transgression,
That's right.
who is the figure of him that was to come.
Alright. So when Adam came, Adam was doing what? Adam was like the gatekeeper of the law. Alright? And while he was being the gatekeeper of the law, what was he doing? He was being a God and a God at the same time. Because when we come back, when Yahweh shall come back, we will be God again. We will be immortal. Read the last part. That's why he says that.
The last part. This is Romans 5 and the last part of verse 14. Who is the figure
Who is the figure?
of him that was to come?
Who was supposed to come? The same guy that was there, that was the the gatekeeper of the law will come again to be the guarantor of the covenant. Now, but he will explain it in 45 to 47. 1 Corinthians 15, 45 to 47. He will explain that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verses 45 to 47.
Bring it out.
And it reads, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
The first man, Adam, was made a living soul.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Carry on.
Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual,
Right.
but that which is natural,
Right.
and afterwards that which is spiritual.
Right.
The first man is of the earth,
Right.
earthly.
Right.
The second man is the Lord, Yahweh. from
Right.
heaven.
So Adam came the first time, being a gatekeeper of the law. He fell into sin, and like Romans 5 and 14 explained, he was just the omen for the things to come. So he came, brought in sin, brought in the law, faced the sin.
Just for you newcomers to the channel, sin is breaking the law of
That's
the
right.
Most High.
That's right.
Yeah?
That's right.
Law, statutes, and
That's right.
commandments.
That's right. So when we have like the saying in West Africa, we say, you broke it, fix it. Alright? So Adam came the first time, he broke it, so he had to come again to fix it. If you can receive it from the Spirit. Alright? Alright, so to carry on that. So oh yeah, Revelation, yes. There's Revelation 11. You want to go into that, yeah? Alright. Let's read, alright, before we carry on, so 11 and 3, right? So before we read that, basically what it is that we are back again. So like we read, reincarnation, we were there before, we came back again, but this time we came back for the final. Alright? We came back to the final. We were raised up again after the slavery. Right? But there was a time that we were in sleep and we didn't know where. We had to pay for that. Can you read Ezekiel 4 and 5? Before we go into that, I would like to speak something quickly, then we'll get into that. No, just that.
Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 5. For I have laid upon thee the years of the iniquity,
Right.
of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days shall.
So this one, how captivity was prophesied, and Yahushua went through a ritual with the prophet Ezekiel for the things to come. All right, so it was already prophesied, and that's what we will get into. He prophesied, and we went through it, but now we coming back now as the prophet to get the order back before Yahushua come back. Right. So what were you reading? 11 and 3.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 3. It reads, and I will give power unto my two witnesses.
Right. I will give power unto my two witnesses, and we will understand that through the word that those two witnesses is Israel, because you had Judah and you had Israel. All right. So if you look today, right, the people that are out there teaching the word are from those two nations. Yeah?
And they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth.
Right now, that one, that's 1,260. When you divide it by 3, you got 42. Okay, yeah, but when you divide it by 30, you got 42 weeks, which Revelation 13 and 5 speaks of. Yeah, 3.5, but that's like, obviously, just like when you say 7 women should come, it's not necessarily 7, 92, 3, so sometimes words are given, but you need to catch the prophecy behind it, the spiritual meaning behind it, but that went into our captivity. So sackcloth, what does it mean? Us, when back in Israel, when people mourn, they put themselves in sackcloth. And that's right. And that's what we're doing right now through our captivity. Because although we went to the hardcore part, we are still in it, but we're coming out of it. Right? So we are the ones sighing and trying, and that's why I was telling to you, when you say Shalak Rayam, you say Shalak Rayam because the same people were the ones that persecuted you back in time. Do you get what I'm saying? And you're the one, why are you trying to sign? Because your blood used to try as well.
That's right.
You might be one of them who were killed.
That's right.
And came back now to prophesy the end. And that's what we're doing.
Right. This is Ezekiel 9:4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
That's right. So we're the one that's sighing and crying for the abomination. But now we talk about the two. I want brother to go into the read 4. Read 4.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labor.
All right, read that again. I was going to destroy. Read that again.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. And it reads, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labor.
That's right, so that's what's going on right now. There was a time that we didn't even talk about the words. But now we are here bold talking about the word and bringing our people back, beating them to the marriage. All right, so we are the witnesses that were prophesied that were going to be in sackcloth. When you look at these, that's the sackcloth, man, the garment that we're talking about. All right? When you see that, that's a sign. The Most High is signing, because our people require a sign sometimes. So everything is done by sign, but there's something to be explained. Right? So that's what's taking precedence as we speak right now. All right?
Daniel chapter 12 verse 9. And he said, go the way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed until the time of the end.
All right? Until the time of the end. That's what we're doing. All right? Carry on, man. You're reading.
Yeah, verse 4.
That's right.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 4 now. And it reads, these are the two olive trees.
Let's talk about the two witnesses. It says these two witnesses, these are the two olive trees.
Read it again.
Yeah, this is the book of, as he said, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 3. And it reads, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Verse 4, these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth.
And that's why, so carry on.
I was going to say, it says these are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks. And it's going to let you know that when you go through the precepts, it's talking about Israel and Judah, like the government.
Yes, and that's why these truths, that's why we are here telling people that this gospel is not for everyone. Because the prophecy don't even allow it for people to come in. And after that, we're going to go into Romans 11 and 11 to explain, because people think that the drafting, because he says Gentile, people think that it talks about, no, it's deeper than that. It stems back from that prophecy. The two candlesticks, the two witnesses, which are Judah and Israel, come back for who? For the same people that went through that prophecy in Ezekiel 4 and 5, talking about our iniquity, like the bearing of our iniquity. What was the bearing of our iniquity? Slavery, and what we're going through right now. So the same people that bear the iniquity, what is the iniquity? Like the brother said, the transgression of the law. Who transgressed the law? It could only be Israel, but Israel was the one the law was given to. See, this thing, you have to go precept upon precept to understand these things, man. You can't just stand up and say, oh, he came from everybody. No. When you go back into the study, it doesn't allow you to even say that.
The precepts lets you know that these other nations weren't held accountable to the law anyway. That's when you read Deuteronomy 14:21. It talks about you not eating anything that die of itself, but you can sell it to the other nations and make a little change. So that shows you that the law don't pertain to everybody. We're the ones that's being judged for breaking the law. They're going to be judged for how they treat us when the Most High handed us over to them.
So like, just before you say that, and even if you just look around you, you can see the other nations are not accountable for the law. When you look at our people and them, it's clear in your face anyway.
Listen, the Chinese, the more people who be eating. Yes, they could be eating, they eat what they eat, man. They eat also abomination and then make it a delicacy. And they're fine. The minute we start eating that, sicknesses upon sicknesses. So we must be the people of the Lord. We must be the ones, in my tribe, that you got taught him. No, I want you to. Yeah. In my tribe, the thing is it's called totem. The high shit, totem. Totem. Where there's things we don't eat. Now, they eat also of abomination because they don't know who they are. But that alone let you know that we are the people because they have this sort of vibration in our culture, man. We don't eat, we don't eat. Where does it come from? It comes from us. From that other nation that ate everything, man. Let's be honest.
That's right. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 4 and verse 11. And it reads, Then answered I and said unto him, What are these two olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick?
Remember in Revelation it talks about the two witnesses. It says these are the two olive trees.
And upon the left side thereof. And I answered again and said unto him, What be these two olive branches, which through the two golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves?
That's right.
Verse 13. And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Verse 14. Then said he, These are the two